The female captain had just finished a 2-year mission supporting Africa and was getting ready to go back to her own country. She had just got on the plane when the flight attendant she had worked with for 2 years tearfully said goodbye to her. At this moment, the cabin was filled with laughter. Nobody knew that a disaster was waiting for them. The plane roared as it shot up into the sky and then flew steadily above the clouds. The cabin also seemed very calm. The captain suddenly felt the need to use the restroom. She told the young co-pilot to take over her position. A wisp of smoke drifted by outside the window. The woman smelled a pungent odor. At this time, the co-pilot also smelled the smell. But seeing the normal-looking instruments, he didn't take it seriously. Just at this moment, the plane suddenly began to shake violently. It rushed towards the hot air above the volcano. Volcanic ash entered through the propellers, causing both engines to fail at the same time. The plane was completely out of control and began to fall towards the volcano. The passengers became panic-stricken. At this critical moment, the captain rushed back to the cockpit. However, due to the violent shaking, her head hit the dashboard and she passed out. The woman immediately rushed to the cockpit door. Although according to regulations, she didn't have the authority to enter the cockpit, in order to save everyone's lives, she forced her way in and took over the control of the plane. The woman contacted the control tower while she was operating the plane. At this time, the cabin was already filled with the pungent smell. Everyone else put on gas masks. Only the woman disregarded her own safety. Finally, under her skillful operation, one engine restarted. The plane stopped falling and began to climb again. However, the plane with one engine still shook violently. Nobody knew what would happen next. Finally, a ray of sunshine shone into the cockpit. The plane broke through the volcanic smoke. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. However, the plane was still in danger at this moment. Landing with only one engine was a severe challenge for the captain. The woman contacted the control tower and determined the location for the forced landing. All passengers were preparing to face the test of life. The plane rushed towards the airport. All the ground crew were mobilized. The woman pulled the control stick. Amidst a violent shaking, the plane slowly came to a stop. At this moment, the crisis was finally over. The woman relaxed. The cabin burst into cheers. The woman also high-fived the co-pilot next to her to celebrate. The emergency medical staff rushed up quickly, only to find that no one was injured, except for the unfortunate captain.